Next item, C, consideration and action on second reading of the ethics ordinance. If you bear with me, I'll read the preamble. An ordinance to amend the Code of Snellville, Georgia, Chapter 3, to Title 3, Code of Ethics, and to codify the Code of Ethics adopted by Mayor and Council in 1999. The Chair recognizes Mr. Witz for the purpose of a motion.
Mayor, once again, I move that we pass this ordinance as written.
There is a motion and a second of that motion.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bender. Mr. Witz, the floor is yours.
Basically, what we're doing is this ordinance will codify the ethics rules that have been in place in the city since 1990. They were first passed in 1990. They've never been part of our charter. In order to be a city of ethics of the state, you need to re-ratify those ethics standards that we have in the city. So basically, that's what this does. It goes right along again with most of the other cities in the county, and it conforms with the Georgia Municipal Association.
Thank you, Mr. Witz. Ms. Bender?
No further comment.
Any other council members wish to speak on this matter? Ms. Couch?
Can we do things at once? I have a couple questions first for the city attorney. Mr. Powell, I believe when this was first presented to council, it was stated that you had drafted this ordinance based on the city of Lawrenceville, but actually the only thing that you drafted is the opening section. This is the ordinance as written, or the resolution as written in 1990.
Yeah, if that has been said, I didn't do that. We've never, to be honest with you, your ordinance ethics has always been the head of what Lawrenceville's project. We've never used Lawrenceville as an example. We were really just taking the code that you put in place by resolution and putting it in your code of ordinances so it's visible.
And I think we've had previous discussions that, in your opinion, this resolution has always been the policy of the city, but by adopting it tonight, it would make it the law of the city. So by codifying it tonight, it would become actually official law.
Yeah, the council's always been bound by it. I mean, it's served as your code of ethics from the time it was adopted in 1990. So I don't know that you're strengthening it. You're really bringing it to the forefront, put it in your code where people will see it, and to the extent there are ethical issues, it does take the standard of being one of your ordinances.
And so, under that theory, I guess there is no start date for this ethics ordinance. You're saying that a violation, even if it didn't occur since tonight forward, it still would be a violation because this ordinance has already been in existence as a policy.
I think code of ethics is a conduct standard for officials. So yeah, I think if somebody violated this code prior to the date, after 1990, I think they would be subject to it.
And I have a specific question on page 4, letter C. In reading that, would that mean then that a member of the council, city member of council, couldn't be an applicant for their church or their business for something that would appear in front of this council?
You know, I really don't give advisory opinions on that sort of thing, but I mean, it says what it says. It says no council member or member of a board or commission shall act as an agent or attorney for another in any matter before the city council or any board or commission. So.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I'm going to support the passage of this tonight. This ethics ordinance was written by Mayor Clower's administration back in 1990, and I appreciate the fact that this council is recognizing something that Mayor Clower did back in 1990. I think, however, that this ordinance needs to be updated. I think by passing it, we put one of the things in the proposed ordinance we had in front of us a couple of months ago was that there was a start date, so if somebody's past behavior couldn't get them into any trouble. This ordinance doesn't have anything like that.
Thank you very much. Any other? Mr. Sabah?
I had supported the former ethics ordinance that came about. I think we started working on that in January of 2010. And I am in support of this one also because, as I said before, and I will repeat, these are tools simply to be able to be put in the hands of the citizens if needed. And it would allow us all as a body, as members of the city, to look forward to even be better, polished even a lot more. And therefore, I will support this ethics ordinance tonight. And we thank the members here on the council for working so hard to put this back on the agenda.
Any other council members wish to speak on that?
Just to point out, when I became a council member back in 2007, had to go to training, got a big book of all the codes and ordinances for the city of Snellville, and one of the things that was never presented to me was this resolution that adopted an ethics, a code of ethics. So I was serving as an elected member of your city council without ever being told what I was supposed to live up to. Now, we all have our own personal code of ethics, and I certainly hope that my service prior to the city, prior to becoming a member of council, kind of set forth who I was, and so people knew what they were getting with me. One of the reasons that we have continued to revisit ethics is it is a requirement by Georgia Municipal Association for us to be a city of ethics, that we, as elected officials, know what we're supposed to live up to. And I think that's pretty smart. And we got caught up, we actually, Ms. Bender and another former member of council started working on an ethics ordinance in 2007 or early 2008, ran into a bunch of issues because when you're dealing with people who are either politicians or public servants, we're always looking at worst case scenario. And every time we came up with something we thought would work, somebody's able to come up with it. But if, and there were just, every time we turned around there was a but if, to the point where we had a wonderfully laid out and designed ethics ordinance that was so onerous that it would kind of hamper public service, or that was my view, may or may not be the case. By making this an ordinance, since it was something that we all were already supposed to live up to, all we're doing is making sure that everybody who comes on this council, on one of our boards, knows what it is they're required to live up to. And this is a great starting point. It should put us in compliance with the recommendations by the Georgia Municipal Association. If there are any conflicts in here that have occurred in the past, so be it. We're all big boys and girls. We know what we signed up for. The real issue is, with everything we looked at, the be-all, end-all comes back to mayor and council. If there's an ethics violation, it comes back to us to make a decision. And I think it's a good thing for the city. I think it's a good thing for mayor and council that we move forward and we adopt a code of ethics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now open the floor to any citizen comment. Seeing no citizen wishing to comment, I'll close that part of the meeting. I believe it's the wish of the council. Call a vote. Yes.
May I propose an amendment? Was your motion?
I'll allow you can offer an amendment to the motion. And I mean, we can do it one of two ways. We can either ask Mr. Witz if he'll accept that, or he doesn't accept it, and you can make an amendment, a second, and we can vote on the amendment. So, go ahead.
Mr. Witz, I would propose an amendment to add an Article 9 effective date, and that this ordinance shall become effective as of the date of its passage.
Okay. Ms. Bender, since you secondary, you fine with that?
I'm fine.
Okay. So now we have an ordinance with amendment. Any other amendments, questions, before I call the vote? All those in favor of the ordinance as amended, signify by raising the right hand. 6-0, that's approved. The ordinance is adopted. All right, that ends our public hearing. We'll now go to new business.